We each contain multitudes, not just the parts we're proud of, the healer, the teacher, the mystic, but the gambler, the trickster, the tyrant. Every archetype that has ever moved through human experience lives somewhere in you, in me, in all of us. And the shadow isn't the enemy. The light isn't the destination. The middle path, where you can hold the full range with compassionate awareness, that's where we actually get to know ourselves. I'm Kelly, a mystic, a scribe, and many other archetypes besides. And the devotion of my life is looking into this divine mirror of archetypes with full honesty and reflecting that compassion outward. Each video in this series takes one archetype from the Oracle by Carolyn Myss and opens it along three threads: the shadow or the low road we've walked, the light, the high road we're seeking or reaching for, and the middle path, the one that can hold both and carry us forward while we carry it along the path of self-mastery. This is the fullness of what it means to be human. This is the archetypal attunement. Hello and welcome to today's attunement, which is the archetype of the king. This is a very jam-packed and loaded archetype with protests surrounding no kings and a lot of ancient mythology, medieval mythology, Middle Ages, all sorts of things around kingship. There's like a whole ideal archetype around kings and queens, which queen is another one we'll get to, that people want to embrace the good and benevolent, but then as soon as there's a problem, we want to demonize the shadow, which is not unlike any other archetype, so let's attune. In the light attribute, enlightened benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. And on the shadow attribute, excessive feelings of entitlement and rulership without restraint. So essentially, the king, before we go into anything here, and I'll start shuffling cards, the king is the decider, the leader, the decision-making forefront face person of what is being ruled, how is it being ruled, who is the choice maker, decider of what right rulership is. And what's interesting to me as well, I had shuffled these archetypes and was selecting tarot decks. The Goddess Tarot wants to be used for this. So right now I'm going to be shuffling out a middle road to see like what is the middle path? What is the middle path between like this ultra benevolence where you're somehow capable of caring for yourself and everyone else around you and all in right relationship, and that's balanced, nuanced against the feeling of entitlement or you knowing that you're the one in charge. Because a lot of the time, the idea is like, well, I'm heavy as the crown. I'm the one that has to bear the burden of the weight of the rulership. So I'm the one that should be able to get to make the decisions. I should be considering me. But the middle path, Prince of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Is clarity without condemning. It's the clarity of sovereignty without condemning someone to be trapped in a way. In other words, the middle path of the king is providing the kingdom where everyone can choose to thrive within it or choose to leave. The Eight of Swords is about like feeling the mentality of being trapped, but in reality, this figure could just stand up and walk out of these swords. It's not really trapping her. There's nothing holding her in within these swords. It's just a mentality. And the Prince of Swords, is this a page? Yeah, this is a page in this deck. So this Prince of Swords is holding the awareness, holding new information. It's teaching, it's educating. This is very much like the student and teacher archetypes. It's saying like you have choices here, but it's up to your discernment. Do you know what you've discerned? Or are you still curious in the garden learning? So the middle path then, how awesome. Again, the middle path of the king is in the provision of the kingdom where people can choose to educate themselves or not, to free themselves or not. I talk about this a lot actually with my husband and anybody that I actually talk to in real life. I feel like the best kind of society is one wherein people get to opt out. People get to say like, yes, this is the best we can come up with that cares or gives sovereignty to all people, even and including the sovereignty to be able to get up and leave. But again, when these are reversed, the middle path is like, hey, you get to choose if you feel trapped or not. You get to choose if you educate yourself or not, because the right relationship of the king is not the caretaker, the mother of, the provider of all of these people. It just provides the kingdom. It provides the structure. It provides the outset order where people can meet or not their own needs and the needs of the others. It's not for the king to be a servant. It's for the king to provide the kingdom. So this is really cool. I want to get, and I love that this goddess deck is just coming out. This is the first tarot deck I ever got in my life, and I don't use it ever anymore. And today it was like, no, we're going to show up for this, and I love it. So can I please have a low road for the king? And of course, it's apt from the goddess. Excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. Interesting. Ooh, 9 of Pentacles and Isis, the magician. Of course it is. Of course it would be. Because this, Isis, this is, okay, this is a goddess of many, many names, Isis is, and this is in the Egyptian tradition. However, when you go back before Isis, similar goddesses of different names and similar frequencies, this is the ancient feminine magic. This is the divine feminine magic of the I am, because I know myself. And because I speak it. I know it, I am. This is all about communication. It's all about, and this is a nod in the low road of the king to the occult memberships, groups, secret societies, what have you, that a lot of these air quotes elite, and we'll stop calling them that. They're little boys running around with magic sticks that got really good at it because they got good at hiding it from everyone else and like tampering the knowledge. They weren't educating anyone. They were burying it. They were burying the feminine. They were suppressing everything that's good because they wanted to feel the most powerful. And when people who don't know their own fucking power can't cultivate it within themselves, they take it from other people. And they blind other people to themselves. And they do everything they can to be shady, trickster, mimic, garbage. That's not the king. That is the low road. And wow, do you hear my fury coming out? Because here's what we could have. Here's what we want to have. All of us, free in the garden. Sovereign, individual. This is a dove. This is peace. This is freedom. The freedom to be able to descend, if we want to, into the darkness. And in the low road path here, this is one person's version of what the garden should be. And I'm going to call out the biblical God here because it's BS. This is the one true king. No, it's not. It's garbage. If you're a Gnostic or you know anything about the Gnostics, you know that the biblical king is trash. Absolute trash. Because what king would put in a tree that would allow someone to know themselves and be like God? Who doesn't want to meet their divine counterpart? Who wants subservient people around them? A trash king does. A trash king wants people around them that don't see the full truth, that all they want to do is flatter and serve and give to this one divine king because that ego is the most high. Garbage, trash, biblical king. Come at me. Please do. Because a good king, again, as we discussed with the middle road, provides the kingdom, provides the proverbial noose that you could hang yourself with, or, matter of fact, just the rope that you could do anything you want with. Build a net to catch fish. Build a rope ladder to climb to higher heights with. Anything you want. It provides the rope. You decide whether it's the noose or not. But in the wrong leadership of the king, in the opposite of right relationship, in the wrong relationship of the king, it's the one who chooses what the garden is for itself. Because it has the power, so it gets to decide, and no matter what anybody else wants, it doesn't matter. Trash God, trash garbage king, no divine in any of that. But however it is, because this divine trash shadow king archetype is exactly the antagonist that all of us need to be able to do this for ourselves. It is exactly the right catalyst. If we didn't have the evil, the badness, the wrong stuff. Okay, we would never know what we want. We would not have the contrast that serves us. If we never felt trapped, we'd never want for liberation. If we never felt unsure, we'd never want for clarity. I want liberation and clarity. Those are two of my highest objectives. And I am a magician. I'm not sitting here in the low road waiting for some king to bestow upon me the kingdom in which I can thrive. I see that it isn't existing because someone else created it a way that doesn't suit me. And so I'm creating my own kingdom within me. Welcome to the Gnostic wisdom. Welcome to the tradition. Welcome to the mystery schools. Welcome to the whatever bastardization of whatever name you want to call it from whatever tradition it originally derived from, and then by the game of telephone became called something else. King is an ancient archetype. This goes way, way, way back. And it will continue way, way, way forward, because the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of self, the kingdom of all eternal salvation is within each of us if we choose to see that other people play the low road, and that we do have the option of seeing that clearly, freeing ourselves from, by looking at the past, looking at ourselves, looking within, not out in the world. This isn't looking forward, it's looking inward, it's looking backward, it's looking at the heart. Look at this hand on the heart. I'm looking at my own inner garden. Where am I trapping myself? Let me get high road here before I get too ahead of myself. Wow, I got a lot of passion and flames shooting out in this, and I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, because I kind of was like looking at this card and feeling a little disconnected, and then here it comes, because it's not me, it's the channel. Oh my God, yes. Ukamochi? How do you say that? I don't know. I'm not familiar with Japanese type of like language and that kind of thing, but I know that this is a goddess of like harvest, and essentially sacrificed her body. So the vehicle of the ego, right? The physical, the tangible, the what you can actually see. The ego sacrificed it so that her people could eat, and her body turned into harvest, wheat and grains and all sorts of things and everything, so that her people could live. Ego death is the high road of the king, saying it's my kingdom, it's my legacy, but not about my name, it's about who I was, it's about the archetype that I provided for the world moving forward. Who's a good king? When do you look back in history and see a good king? I need to segue into this. I've been searching for the divine masculine archetype, the one that blends the healer and the magician and the warrior and the sage and the priest and all of the things together with the king. And there isn't one. I mean, there are those that come close across different things, and I've not researched every far-reaching corner of the entire known universe yet, but I will tell you, in my current studies, I have not found that one divine archetype masculine. And look at, this is death represented as a woman. Usually it's like some figure of Saturn with a black robe, you know, that darkness. But this is more encompassing because it sacrificed itself to be provision for others. And that is the king at the highest road. Providing enlightened, benevolent leadership. Enlightened meaning I don't really matter, and I know that because I'm not really me. I'm just one divine face of the one Godhead that has many faces. An enlightened, benevolent leadership. I'm here for all the rest of me, benefiting those in my charge, because I was given a position of leadership. I was given a position of kingship. I am honored, and so the only way that I can honor myself being honored is by honoring those that honor me. It only makes logical sense. It only makes logical sense. And in a world where right now we, what's the word I want to say? Submit. We submit to logic and fact as if it is the king. Meanwhile, the occultist people who are like ruling the world by way of magic, all of that flies in the face of fact, you know, because so much of magic is exactly what's coming out in me right now. It's the passion. It's the passion that says, I love my people so much, I would die. I would sacrifice my own body to become what they can consume. Jesus and the bread and the blood and all of the stuff, which, by the way, I've already mentioned, the biblical God is not it. Not it, bro. Not the bro that I want to be down with. And here's what I also feel needs to be mentioned. Again, its own body shows up in all of the things. The divine leadership sacrificed her, its own self, to become emanations of all these different things. Wheat and, why am I just coming up with wheat? Grapes and you name it. Whatever grows in the Japanese, regions, I don't know. Forgive my ignorance. But it sprang up as all of these different emanations of the lover. That lover. I have a tattoo on my left forearm that says, "Find me in everything." And it's in my dad's handwriting, and he didn't write it. I pieced together after his death pieces of his handwriting to put together the words that I needed from the divine king. And forgive my emotion or don't, I don't care. Because I needed to know that he was in everything. Not my dad, but my father. Do you know what I'm saying? I am the son. This is all metaphor, and it's all not. It's all literal. When they say the kingdom is found within, in you, it's because it really is. And it's also such a huge metaphor, because the story of all of this is in you. It's in your life. And that's why mythology is so deep, and that's why the goddess deck wanted to be used for this, because it's all about the mythology and the right relationship, the middle path, the way that we can balance the king is like knowing you are divine, you're special, you're chosen, you're important, you are part of a chosen lineage. You are the son of the Father, regardless of your gender. You are of divine heritage. You belong. This world is yours for you to hold. The sun shines at your back and urges you forward to free and liberate yourself. In curiosity, to eat the fucking apple. Eat the divine fruit that says, know thyself. Become the magician. Do not be ruled by other kings. Do not be ruled by false prophets. There is no other king. It's you. It's you. You hold the garden in your hand, in your heart. And it's the divine union of the masculine and feminine within you that really creates the provision of the kingdom. Again, why the goddess wanted to be used. Because here we are with the magician rendered as female and the king rendered as male. Because we need the practical earthly rulership in the material realm, because we are humans with actual human bodies. And also, magic is real. The energetic current of it is real. The Shekinah, the divine energy that moves through everything is real. And it's you, and it's me, and it's all of us, but it's not if we don't realize it. It belongs to other people. It belongs to kings, outside foreign rulers, if we don't claim it. I'm super emotional, folks. This is like, this is a new era for me. I'm in a new place, and so the readings I'm doing want to be different. They want to be more full. They want me to be more present in them as my ego dissolves in front of my and your eyes. And also is lifted at the same time. And if you understand what I'm saying, it's because that's meant to be happening in you too. The right relationship of the king archetype is the ego's, and I just saw 1444 on the clock, is the ego's dissolution, while it's also, while the archetype is uplifted. The ego of you dissolves while the archetype of you glows. You are so held And that's why the throne is befitting for a king. Because, like, you know that it comes from being supported. And so that also being supported means that you're also not the bottom line, right? It means you're also not the only magician. You're not the only one that gets to call the shots. And so that comes with like a humility that goes against this shadow sense of entitlement or the rulership without restraint. Because by being placed on a throne that someone else provided, it's a namaste. I see in you what wants in me the leadership, and I appreciate the opportunity to be the leadership, and I'm not going to take that for granted. Wow. Is there anything else that wants to be said about this? And maybe not, because that feels very full. I just feel very strongly connected to this thread here. I'm getting cards like stuck in my hands. Wow. Okay. Wheel of Fortune, and then the Princess of Swords. This is the Knight of Swords. Oh my gosh. Okay. Again, know thyself is the whole thing here. And once you know yourself, then you're ready to move forward. Then you're ready to like speak towards other people. Have this humility and this grace of like speaking towards like, hey, I know what would be best for this kingdom. I know what can help us innovate. Do you see what I'm trying to show here is like the moving forward of this? I know this is mental clarity. This is like discernment. This is like enlightenment moving forward. And with Lakshmi, fortune. This is wealth, abundance, love, and divine curious exploration. Fortune. And it's also fate, which again, kings for a long, long time and in their right relationship defer to or relay with or consult with those that divine from the heavens, from the stars, from the spirits, from the fates, from the anything, or with priestesses or priestess, or with priestesses or priests, you know, in right relationship with the divine. Because the earth world is only one realm. The divine world is a totally different thing, and the wrong relationship, shadow archetype of the king, doesn't consider the spiritual. But it needs to. But it needs to, or it's not a whole human archetype. And we don't need non-human kings. We need whole human kings. So be one. Because I'm challenging myself to be one too, and if you found this video, that's the message. Jeez Louise, I love this reading so much. And if you did too, please hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification thing because I'm one by one going through this 80 card deck. And I'll see you in the next video.